The old cemetery on the outskirts of the village was a place of perpetual mist and heavy silence. Harry, a young man with a rational mind and a camera, had just arrived to take over as the new caretaker. He didn't believe in ghost stories, but he did believe in patterns. And every day at 4 p.m, a specific pattern emerged from the fog. A sleek black cat with mysterious violet eyes would walk silently toward a weathered, nameless grave. It sat there, perfectly still, like a statue carved from the night itself. The villagers avoided Harry's gaze when he asked about the animal. "That cat isn't right," an old man whispered at the gate. "It's been guarding that same spot for 50 years. It's a bad omen, Harry. Don't try to touch it. Don't even look it in the eye." Harry watched the black cat from his window, its violet eyes glowing in the twilight. "It's just a cat," Harry muttered to himself. "There's always a logical explanation." The next day, Harry decided to test his logic. He brought a bowl of fresh tuna and placed it near the nameless grave. The black cat didn't even sniff the food. It kept its gaze fixed on the grey stone. Harry noticed something chilling. The cat didn't seem to breathe, even in the cold autumn air. A drunk villager once tried to chase the black cat away with a stick. The cat didn't move, but the man suddenly tripped over a loose stone and broke his arm. The locals said the grave was cursed, but Harry felt it was something else, an obsession. He began to investigate the cemetery records, searching for the nameless occupant. The pages for the year 1974 were torn out, leaving a gap in the village's history. Harry sat by the grave one night, keeping a safe distance from the silent black cat. "Who are you waiting for?" Harry asked softly, but the cat only flickered its ears. Suddenly, a thick, unnatural fog rolled in, colder than anything Harry had ever felt. He saw the black cat stand up, its fur bristling as it let out a low, vibrating growl. The cat wasn't looking at Harry, it was looking at something standing right behind him. Harry turned, but there was nothing there, only the swirling white mist. He decided he had to know the truth. He decided to dig. "I'm sorry," Harry whispered to the black cat as he struck the earth with his shovel. The black cat sat on the headstone, watching him with those piercing violet eyes. Harry dug deeper, but he didn't find a coffin. He found a small wooden box. Inside was not a body, but a collection of old letters and a small silver collar. The collar was engraved with a name, Shadow. Harry realized the grave wasn't for a person. It was a memorial for a cat. But then whose name was missing from the records? He found a final letter at the bottom of the box, dated 50 years ago. "To my only friend," it read. "Wait for me where the willow weeps. I will return for you." Harry looked up and realized the black cat was no longer sitting on the grave. It was standing by the old willow tree, looking toward the village path. A faint, translucent figure of an old woman appeared under the tree. She looked lonely, her clothes from a different era, her face filled with longing. The black cat let out a loud, joyful meow, the first sound Harry had ever heard it make. The woman knelt down, and the black cat ran into her ghostly arms. Harry watched as the cat's physical form began to blur and fade into the mist. The violet eyes flickered one last time, filled with a sense of peace Harry had never seen. The woman and the black cat walked together into the fog, disappearing into the light. Harry stood alone in the silence, the shovel still in his trembling hands. The next morning, the grave felt different. The heavy air had finally lifted. There were no more sightings of the black cat at 4 p.m. The villagers noticed the change, but they still didn't speak of it. Harry placed the silver collar on top of the tombstone as a final tribute. "The debt is paid," Harry whispered to the wind. He realized that some promises are so strong, they can hold a soul to the earth for decades. The black cat wasn't a curse. It was a testament to a love that refused to die. Harry continued his work as the caretaker, but he felt less lonely now. He understood that every grave had a story, and some stories never truly end. But a week later, Harry heard a soft scratching at his front door. He opened it, and his heart skipped a beat. There was no one there, but a single black hair lay on the welcome mat. In the distance, near the willow tree, he saw a flash of violet light. Harry smiled, realizing the guardian was still there, just in a different form. He left a small bowl of water on the porch, a silent invitation. Sometimes logic isn't enough to explain the world. Sometimes you just have to believe in the things you can't see. Harry sat on his porch, watching the mist roll over the stones. He heard a soft purr coming from the empty chair beside him. He didn't turn to look, he just enjoyed the company. The village was quiet, the mystery of the black cat finally settled into a legend. But Harry knew the truth. Some bonds are eternal. A cat's loyalty is a supernatural force, bridging the gap between life and death. He picked up his camera and took a photo of the empty chair. When he developed the film, a faint, dark shadow was sitting right there. The black cat with violet eyes was still watching over its friend. Harry closed his eyes and drifted into a peaceful sleep. The graveyard was no longer a place of fear, but a place of rest, and in the silence of the night, a soft chime of a silver collar could be heard. The story of the black cat at the graveyard became Harry's favourite memory. Thank you for listening to The Secret of the Nameless Grave. May you always find the loyalty you search for in this world. Goodbye for now. From the Silent Hills and the Guardian of the Mist.